All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I am Pato, and we are going to be bringing you AHGL action between Raytheon, which is going to be our blue team, versus Zappos, which is going to be the red team. Have some pretty sick lineups for you. Just did some picks, had some swap action going on with some placeholder picks because, surprise, everybody doesn't own every champion in League of Legends. There's over 100 of them now, and obviously it's a little bit time intensive and expensive to build your way up to those. So these guys sometimes have to use placeholder picks, but that Teemo is not a placeholder pick. Actually, it was Poppy for the Samumu. But looking over the bans real quick, we have J4, Sivir, Hecarim, Blitzcrank, Shen, Tristana. Those are all the actual bans that were banned out. And in honesty, yeah, I like most of them. I mean, Tristana probably a pretty targeted ban, kind of getting a little bit of the flavor of the month action after Captain Jack's been having some success with it. But imagine a lot of these players probably looked into some match histories and scoped out what the successful champions were. Maybe watched over some of these casts and got some elite infos. We're able to make some decisions on their bans. But looking at these lineups, a lot of fun lineups. Actually, Raytheon has a couple of subs this week, so their lineup is very, it is pretty fun. They have Curse of the Sad Bullet Time, basically online between Amumu and Misfortune. Gat going to be rocking that Misfortune. Saved by the Kel going to be basically press an R to try to win the game. But they have a pretty aggressive lineup in that bot lane with the Bloody Face and Gat Tarek. Misfortune can be pretty good down there. They're going to be kind of against another all-in lane, so should be interesting to see how it works with two lane bullies going at each other. But meanwhile, in that top lane, there is going to be a Teemo, and actually they might put him mid too. They can put him anywhere, but I'm guessing he's going to be top, and Walking Death is going to be on that Akali in the mid lane, and should have some good assassin potential too. Gonna have to wait it out a little bit against this Lux, who I believe is going to be in that mid lane stanky leg. Gonna be rocking her, trying to throw out those lasers and do some damage. And let's look at their lineup too. I mean, Xin Zhao, pretty much a top tier jungler, was at the very top. Recently got a few nerfs, so not quite at the same level, but still effective. Just brought more down to a more balanced level. We also see Malphite's going to be in that top lane, which it might actually be a tough lane for him with this Teemo, because the one thing about Malphite is like you usually want to go in and trade when your shield is up, but the problem with Teemo is he has the persistent damage from the poison going on, so it kind of extends the time it takes for your shield to come back. Plus he has a decently long range, he does some damage. Teemo's laning phase is absolutely godlike, so might be a little bit of a hard time for him. But when they get into the team fight phase, their team is pretty well set up. They actually have some disengage and dive with Xin Zhao and Malphite, and they have some engage with heavy engage with Malphite, Leona, and then they also have some range poke with Lux, and then they have a huge damage dealer Thug and Feddelkin is going to be this Draven down the bot lane. So Zappos, they had two Heartbreaker games that I got to cast for them, and coming back into last week's game, they actually picked up a win. Finally closed one out. Didn't have the heartbreak, so they're just kind of going to try to roll that one out there. They've had a lot of adversity, but been playing really, really well. Just had a little bit of trouble in trying to finish games, and just got beat out in the end. Unfortunately, when you play those long games, sometimes that does happen. But on the other side, we do have some really good techniques from both teams. I mean, both teams, if they land their big AOE really, really flush on the enemy team, could be really huge for them, and actually completely turn the tides of the game. I mean, great Malphite ults or a great Amumu into bullet time could be the key to this game. And also, I think the mid lane's actually going to tell a lot, because if Lux gets rolling, then she can just poke you down from long range, gets all that cooldown, does a ton of damage. Akali, the same thing. If she gets rolling, then she's diving the back line, she's blowing up Lux, and she's going for more. So it'll be interesting to see how that lane works out. If either one of them can get a really big leg up, or if they can focus some ganks there, possibly, then they could snowball it pretty well in their favor and just try to knock out one of those. Teemo, on the other hand, he's like his own little mini game in that top lane, because what happens with Teemo is he has a really strong laning phase, so you're pretty much not going to beat him in the early laning phase. Then if the laning phase gets extended long enough, he's able to set up shop up there, has all his mushrooms. You're never going to be able to get in on him, and then eventually he can start taking turrets. He can actually even split push. He has a teleport, so he can actually split push you really hard in that top lane, and then you get into a really big problem just because you can't catch him. He has move quick that gives him tons of speed, plus you're running into mushrooms, and that's slowing you, and it's actually really frustrating. It's like it's almost like pseudo singed in a lot of ways as well, except for he's actually a range character and can poke down turrets a little bit faster, in my opinion. So we'll be interested to see how that actually works out in the top lane, and I think those are kind of going to be the keys, that mid lane, that top lane, how those really work out. is going to tell a lot about this game. The bot lane, though, I mean, going to be a little aggressive back and forth. I think one of them definitely can get a pretty good advantage if they really go for it. But again, if you go for it, the chances are, too, that you could lose out, and then you're going to be at the disadvantage and don't really want to end up in that phase. Misfortune, very much a champion that really just wants to sit back and land a really good bullet time. And be a bully in lane early, and then Draven on the other hand just really wants to basically get everybody held in place for long enough, have no one paying attention to him, just throw as many spinning axes as possible, dealt his crazy AD damage. We also see the Still Legion Lux, hopefully going to get a hot fix soon to fix that light binding, which is really hard to see, which makes that skin actually really good to play currently, much like the Annie skin used to be with its stun, you couldn't see the stun very well. It was like very faded and blended in with her. So yeah, we're gonna actually have a good on now. Funny spells that we are gonna see here. Bloodyface is gonna be rocking Ghost Heal, which Ghost has kind of been, my buddy Highwind that I've been casting with and play actually in recent tournaments. Been loving that Ghost Cleanse, but Ghost is actually one of the spells that if you get CC'd, it's not as good. But if you have a way to reduce CC, get out of that damage and stuff, you can actually do pretty well. You can actually do pretty well at getting away and using it even better than Ghost. So we'll see how that actually works out for them. Heal as well could be a strong spell if they are able to metagame this correctly, which they did. Which heal is actually very good if you guess that your opponent's, especially since you're a Tark, chances are the AD is going to go cleanse. So if you go heal on top of that, heal is actually really effective because it heals you and your AD carry. And if they don't have Ignite, then you don't have to worry about them reducing that damage. I mean, that's usually the worry if you're going to take heal. And then you're like, I don't want to take heal because if they have Ignite, then I'm in trouble. But if you metagame this and you're like, all right, all the ADs are against Tarek are usually going to take cleanse if they're smart because they don't want to get stunned. They want to be able to get out of trouble. And we have other CC on our team, especially Curse the Sad Mummy and other stuff like that. Then yeah, like I'm gonna take heal, and that's a good, smart heads-up play. Bloodyface and Raytheon now, and here we go. Mummy gonna scout this out, trying to protect their blue buff. Although Misfortune in the bot lane, so they're not gonna be here for this. But we are gonna have an invade coming in from Zappos on this top side of blue. And it just comes down to when they're gonna really wait to come in on this one and really go for the jugular. Sometimes. You don't want to be too late, especially, and you want to be able to react. And again, they did the smart thing too. They had a player go down there and place a ward at their blue, so if there was a counter invade, they would see it's going down. Typically, what I actually like to do in these scenarios is just you can actually just invade early, ward their blue, and actually just back out, take your own blue. Usually, most of the time, they will assume that you're going for theirs, go for yours, and you can actually just dunk on them. But a lot of mind games at the level 1 stage, and they're going to back off, and this is well timed and perfectly timed. Here they're going to come in. They're not going to see this coming, and if you put a Moo behind, this is the problem with a Moo. And so crisis management is going to be key here. And here they go on their way. Leona going to lead off with a stun onto Dofoot, and there is going to be first blood coming in for Xin Zhao, and that's a good start to your jungle. First blood and a stolen blue buff. So Moo is going to be running for it, and they're going really fast. They actually have some decent support, so if they run to blue really quickly, especially with bot support, which I think bot should be heading up right now in order to make sure that they seal this and don't get in too much trouble. And it looks like Misfortune is actually going to head up and help out with this, it looks like. But they need to get this blue for a Moo. It is going to be key, and they need to make sure that they don't get caught out here. And it looks like they should be able to do it in time, especially with a Moo with a smite. So they are going to see this. They are going to try to come for it. If they get up enough disruption, it's going to be good. Akali should actually probably be heading too. And now it's going to be close. Oh, stand aside. Going to come in there. Flash blown. Gat just throwing out some damage to try to cover the retreat. Lux even coming down with Xin Zhao. Tark going to come up to possibly throw a dazzle, but now they're going to take a little bit of damage on the way out. But nicely done. A Moo is going to save his jungle basically by being able to pick up that. Takes a lot of damage in the meantime. But sorry about that. Trying to kill you, Facebook. Luckily, Facebook isn't this game. Otherwise, I yell at them for their stupid new prompt commands. But anyways, as we go along here, Leona being really aggressive here. Actually gets a stun off on Gat, but there's no ability for Draven to actually follow up. But really, that's just a zone out mechanic. Just giving Draven tons of room to free farm up there. And even though Dofo was actually picked off early, we'll see how he actually does in this top lane against this Malphite now that he was put a little bit behind, but so far his CS is already pretty awesome. You know that harass is going to be on point, so feel pretty good about his current situation so far. And there's the Zenith Blade going in here. Dazzle coming out in response, and honestly, Leona's taking way too much damage there in those trades because Draven's actually not getting in there. to follow this up. Although Leona has Biscuit, has the Elixir, so that's probably part of her strategy, just to really zone out as heavy as possible for Draven to go in there. And if you time it correctly, you can actually deny some experience too from the lane, because you zone them out of that range when minions are dying. And here they come back in here with those heals. They might be able to get Gat. It's gonna be close. Her cleanse is used, but not gonna be enough. That last axe flies in, and Bloody Face just running for his life. Really nicely executed there. Leona getting very, very low, but then landing it again. Just have to be a little bit wary of those Zenith Blades and make sure that you're not getting caught for them. I mean, it is really, really tough if Leona's keeps able to get it back on you. They had some nice punishment, but we'll see how they respond to this as they come back to lane. Hopefully not put too far behind by that. But Draven, once he gets rolling, actually can have a pretty good time. And as you can see too, Zappos just already off on the right foot. So Raytheon just really needs to buckle down here and not get too upset. Play this game out and not worry about this early. But Teemo might be in for some gank trouble here. 3 Talon Strike might go off, but no, a nice flash out by Dofoot, and he's going to be able to get out of that one. Nicely done. Dofufa? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what that name. I'm sorry. Dofufa. I will have to ask him exactly how he wants that one said in the future. But he's just playing that team up in that top lane of slow, and nice patience coming in here. Although, oh no, he uses his first attacks on minions, and Dofufa just kind of taunting him, baiting him out there, being like, yeah, I'm Teemo, what up? Unfortunate, actually dove to a minion, did the damage there, didn't actually get to click onto Teemo. Unfortunate little cast there. And usually that actually happens a lot with smart cast. For normal clicking, usually it's a little bit more precise because you're looking for it a little bit better, but I know a lot of times with smart cast that can't happen. Cat face checking a push, not the person you quite want to do that. They definitely need Bloody Face going back right now. He kind of can't do it. I mean, he wants his Stone early to get some of that gold, and Amumu with a nice little gank saved by the Kel coming up here, putting a lot of pressure on Zodakism, and now we're actually going to see Xin Zhao come up to try to cover the Stith. Needs to have a lot of presence on that top lane, but there's that land, and Gat really has no business out here near that brush at all, and they really need to get ward control in there. Hopefully Bloody Face is coming back with, he's coming back with some more wards, but he also needs to be coming back with a pink ward possibly. And wow, saved by the Kel all over the place, landing some good damage in these lanes and backing him off out. Malphite already sent back, and now Lux actually put very, very low in this lane. Again, kind of the keys of the game is how the top lane and this mid lane work out. Obviously, if bot lane runs away, that's always trouble, but for right now, it's pretty well managed. Only a 10 CS advantage for Draven, so not like he's really running away with it, but if Walking Death can get snowballing and then we can start roaming him out here, all the lanes might be in trouble. And there's another beautiful Zenith Blade, and really nothing the Bloody Face can do just because he's far away from his teammates right there. And I have to say, like, Gat just in the future, just I would say, I think he's standing still a little bit too much at times, and be a little bit predictable. Need to be a little bit more erratic with your movements. Kind of like Walking Death is running back and forth. Even though there's not, he doesn't actually have to. There's nothing actually coming out for him at the moment. It makes it harder for Lux to just throw out a spell. You're already moving. You're already warmed up and ready, prepared to dodge a spell. So, yeah, gotta watch out for it. Don't worry. My tournament-winning team this weekend, the TK Rain, we were playing against Morgana support. He ate 4 full-range Dark Bindings to the face. Just kind of stood there and took it, even though he has like quick draw. So. It's okay. We love you, TK. He was still godlike by the end of the game, so it didn't matter. But pretty funny stuff. And actually have a gank down a bot lane. A Mumu coming in here. Just barely missed that banish shots, but he would have been in pretty good trouble underneath that turret. But a lot of pressure on the bot lane. Saved by the Kill, trying to relieve some pressure down there. And, props to him. I mean, they're right now, Raytheon is very much still in this. Only working on a 1K deficit right now. But they have some lanes that are going really well from this Teemo lane. Actually, pretty good advantage, almost double CS advantage on this Malphite. Malphite still, doesn't really quite need items to be super effective. He just needs to be level 6 so he can ult. But for the most part, he should be decently fine for at least for the team fight portions. But the fact that they're getting this going really, really well for them, Teemo's able to push these lanes really, really hard and do what he's doing is actually going to work out, pay really well for Raytheon. But Stith gonna be able to clear this out, gonna be able to get Lux that blue, so she's gonna get that extra cooldown in lane to actually battle this Akali, and that's actually gonna help her out a lot from the Akali pressure. Akali though running away with this CS in mid lane, 50 CS versus 27. 20 CS advantage already, pretty much has a kill in lane, although Lux actually has that assist, so a little bit evened out by that. But overall, actually, very nicely done by this Akali against Lux, who actually is a really long range, tough champion to deal with. And there's that light binding coming out, more damage falling up, auto attack going to land, and Walking Death just flashing out of this, realizing he's in a lot of trouble, and backing off. If they had any sort of other support or jungler gank in there, would have been ripe. And laser coming across down the line, looks like it actually stalled out the blue pill from Walking Death, and Walking Death is actually finally getting a blue pill now. Wasn't sure if he was going to have to dodge that one, but he's actually going to miss a wave. Like, I would almost, I would have kind of weighed that out, see if Lux actually kept pushing, and then I probably would have walked up to this wave and tried to last it as best as possible. Really don't want to lose waves like that, and so since he's actually losing a decent amount of wave here, not so great. Now, Tarek actually eating the Zenith Blade, that's fine for him. He actually has some good armor. Not a really big deal with him. What really needs to happen too is with Bloodyface, whenever that Zenith Blade does come in, he needs to dazzle Fettelkin as soon as the Zenith Blade. So he needs to be more reactive instead of aggressive. Like the stun there wasn't that great. They're not going to play with it. Gat basically has to play from behind because he can't trade with this Draven right now. He has double Doran's Blade versus Bilgewater Cutlass and extra attack speed on top of that. We see Fettelkin actually going for... Oh, saved by the Cal. He wants that banish off. He lands it. Could be good. We'll have to see here. Has a good shot at it, and the stun coming in for Akali. Akali bullet time crossing the team, and a cleanse. Fettelkin's just barely going to be able to get out of that one, and that was a lot of trouble. But Teemo, meanwhile, getting some hate in the top lane, a triple gank up there. But now they know there are 3 up there. We see Raytheon pinging for a dragon. They should do it. With that many people top, they don't have to really worry about anything. Lux has her laser down, so probably not going to see a steal there. So really just good timing and fortune. That's why ganking bottom lane usually better than ganking top, and why you typically don't see that. Axe is coming across, gonna damage a little bit, but Smite gonna outdo that. Nice attempt by Draven, and meanwhile, in response to this Stith and Zedekism, gonna try to take this top lane, but they just can't clear the creeps fast enough. And if Teemo gets back up there in time, that's actually a pretty big win right now at this stage for Raytheon. So they're down 3 kills, but with that dragon and that pickup in that bot lane, definitely bringing it back home here. Only 300 gold deficit. And that's the scariness of this team comp. You know, the Curse of the Sad Bullet Time, plus you're going to have an Akali going in there and diving into those back lines. Luckily, Leona had a pretty good ult to cover Draven's retreat. Otherwise, Draven was probably going to die on that too, and it actually would have been a bigger swing for Zappos down here. Or for Raytheon. But, oh, the Zenith Blade just missing. But, you know, Gat finally getting some of that move speed, being wary of that Zenith Blade in there. And really what we're seeing actually here from this Leona, the good play that he's doing, is he's actually waiting for the auto attack hits. Oh, the laser is able to pick up Akali, and Walking Death picked up there. That's a big pickup for Stanky Leg, relieving some of the pressure on him. Now they're going to be able to push up this mid turret, and if they get the mid turret pretty well, could be really huge for him. Actually, pink ward down in River around Baron. Interesting ward placement. Maybe he thought there might be a ward down there that he can actually clear out, but Mumu saved by the Kelg doing extra duty this game, roaming around to all the lanes to try to protect him. He's going to be coming in here and actually clearing out a little bit of his minions, trying to wait for that last hit, but just a little bit short. Studs coming out onto Draven, trying to be aggressive, gets really in there, but Bloodyface doesn't really have the backup. The Leona misses one more axe, and that is the power of Draven. And Gaga coming in here. I feel like this bot lane is a little disjointed in how they're deciding to go in. One of them, I don't know if it's going to be Gat or it's going to be saved by, or not Gat, but it's going to be Gat or Bloodyface. But one of them kind of needs to take over and be like, okay, we need to work as a unit, and really just kind of like combine our actions together, because really Misfortune wasn't really backing up the play by Bloodyface there, and either, you know, Bloodyface just went in, didn't call it, or I don't know what happened. This is the power of Teemo. Move quick in mushrooms, and if you try to gank top anymore, you're going to be in for a rude awakening, unless you start to place a pink ward down there at the typical spots for Teemo. But he's going to really start building a fortress up there in that top lane. It's going to be a really big pain in the butt to actually try to get up there and make anything happen. So I would suggest if Stith is going to be able to do any more ganks throughout this game, it probably needs to be focused in other places, and definitely not on that top lane. And Malphite trying to duel here is going to be pretty interesting. Has a little bit of minion aggro working outside. Now the minion aggro is going to be working against him. Stuns coming down, getting pretty low. Teemo needs to get a little bit more distance in there. Tricks him into the mushroom, and we actually see the flash from Zodakism. Finally gives up on that move. It's going to take a lot of damage in there. A nice little clear of the golems here, as they still just want to be, you know, take the safe farm they can, because they're really not going to be able to move out on this bot lane. It's kind of pulling ahead of them pretty well. Berserker Greens, Bilgewater Cutlass plus Dagger is a lot better The 9s you see stacking up here for Misfortune. And they've just been really feeding out some kills early, but overall not too bad for them. But overall, you know, Teemo actually still has that healthy lead up top. Lux has been able to bring even, especially with that kill that she was able to pick up in mid lane. Junglers, Saved by the Kill's had some great presence. He's playing well, but Xin Zhao with those 2 kills is still a little bit ahead of him. Effectiveness for a team fight, though, I still think Saved by the Kill has the advantage with a little bit of tankiness coming in there from that belt of health. Over this Wriggles Lantern, although the map vision is obviously going to go to the Wriggles Lantern player. But in this bot lane, definitely the strength right now for Zappos is this bot lane. And both team comps actually have chances to actually make some really plays as we go further into this game. So I'm interested to see how these lanes start to play out, especially if Teemo eventually is able to topple that top turret. That'll actually be really big for them. It almost might be a good idea if they can get saved by the kill. I mean, there's still a lot of pressure in bot lane in other areas right now, but if they can sort of get into a position where he could actually take out top lane, or they could take top lane, that would be pretty huge. Although, really, they can just leave Teemo to his own devices. I kind of take that back a little bit. I think Raytheon could just leave Teemo up there, and he's eventually going to whittle down this Malphite or send him back. And as soon as Malphite goes back, it's basically GG for that top tower, and they should be able to break it. So, yeah, Saved by the Kill just needs to do what he's doing now. It's just sit in this bot lane. Looks like he's trying to come out, and he just needs to kind of tell his team to push up. Push out this wave right here, and that's what they're doing. Ward advantage in here. They see Leona. Now they just need to push it up a little bit more, and if they can, they should be golden. We see right here, we can check the vision to make sure if Teemo is safe, but now he is seen, and Leona commits now, and they're going after her. Tarek getting in there right now, and Leona's still there, though the Banish Touch just barely misses after the flash. That was pretty fortunate, and now Teemo might be in a lot of trouble. They put a lot of effort in there. Oh, but the flash out, and they eat the mushroom. Not gonna happen. Teemo's got that move quick, can't catch him, and that's the problem with the Teemo. Looks like Akali actually, Walking Death actually taking a lot of harassment in this mid lane. Now that Stanky Leg is, you know, he's kind of got his core items. He's got the Fiendish Codex. He's got the Chalice. He can spam as much as he wants. A nice land by Saved by the Kill, but really it's just a little bit of harassment coming in there, and Stanky Leg doesn't care much about that. Right now at this point. Stanky Leg actually has pretty good domination over this lane. Actually has some AoE that can get Akali if she actually shrouds. So I haven't been watching this lane very close to see what's actually going on here, but I think they actually need to coordinate a gank possibly with a Mumu and just get Akali rolling, because Akali's like, she's starting to warm up, but Stanky Leg just been kind of getting the better of her while she's trying to been farming lane. You can see that poke right there. It has infinite poke with blue buff and all the stuff that she has on her, so it looks like they might be dialing back up that gank. Saved by the Kill coming in here, but there is the ward on the side, and as soon as Stanky Leg sees it, he's going to be backing out. Gat clearing out these golems yet again. A lot of pressure coming on this turret. Draven just taking it down to below half now at this point, farming it up like a boss. 122 CS, has a big, huge advantage of the spot lane, plus he has the Blaze Rune King, so really Misfortune and Tark need to go into heavy turtle mode and just pray that no big ganks come bottom. But we have some engagement here. Malphite coming down, and it looks like Laser's going to be able to cross over Saved by the Kill, and he's going to be able to get out of dodge. Big trades going on underneath turret, and Draven and Leona coming up big on that one. And now more pressure on this mid turret. They should be able to take it. They've left Teemo to his own devices and said, screw that guy. We're going to leave him alone and go start taking other objectives. Now they can actually rotate to bottom. Misfortune and Tarek should probably back off out of this. It looks like they're actually going to head to Dragon, but really, if I was Zappos at this point, I would just be rotating through their own jungle. Coming down this bottom lane, I'd go clear out these 2 kills, because those kills would be pretty much free, honestly. You would be able to pick up those easily on Zappos' end, and then you can go get this Dragon for absolute free. But it looks like that's not what's going to happen. Mumu and Akali rushing back up here. Dragon take him, and now they're going to start to collapse after the fact. Ward's fading, and Akali's actually caught out here. And there's going to be the open, a beautiful flash over the wall. Walking Death, dirty moves right there, over into the Golem Bros. And very nicely done, dodging that unstoppable force. Could have been big trouble. And then Mumu strutting his stuff out here, trying to be a boss, but for the most part, really just kind of not being able to find a way to get in on this combo down here. Plus, they, in the back of his head, they have to believe that there's still enemies in their own jungle, so don't really want to worry about that. And now coming for his own jungle, this could be trouble too. Light Binding misses though, so this should be safe for him. Now we should see a collapse coming in here from the bot lane, and Akali turning around here. Laser crosses, misses. That's a key cooldown down, and Walking Death, if he had some backup, could go in, but they're a little bit gun shy now. They're going to lose their bottom turret as well. And Teemo, able to take that top turret. making some things happen in this top lane, but really they don't care about him. And I think that's the correct play from Zappos, is until he really starts getting crazy pushy lanes, don't really have to pay too much attention. They might be able to get Leona, but Gat getting deep in there. He might play with his life. This is very close. Gets out of that with the cleanse. Curse the Sad Mummy to hold him in place. And now Teemo is teleported down, dealing some damage. Throws down a mushroom, but it was killed by Zinz out there very cleverly. But Teemo is on the hunt here. Step aside. Going to knock him into the wall. Slow him down, so he's not going to be able to pursue. But nice little show of force there from Teemo. Finally coming down into these fights, and Akali really pushing this mid turret hard, might be able to take it, although it's taken her a little while to get this one, and Zinzao's going to be coming, laser crosses her face, and that turret's going to be very, very close to down, so might be another good objective for Raytheon to go to follow this one up with, but we'll actually have to see where they go from here. Saved by the Kel picking up the red buff finally, not going to be harassed and bullied around by those Zappos thugs. And going to be able to go about his business, and actually he's caught up pretty well with his Zinzao. Obviously Zinzao's still with those kills, but again, I think he's doing a good job. He's almost a Sunfire Cape, and once he gets his Sunfire Cape, as my good buddy and co-caster Kunif calls it, you're pretty much golden. You basically just need the Sunfire Cape and you're done. Actually, you know, Lux tried to go get her blue buff, I think, which just happened here. Actually gave Akali the opening to go take that mid turret. That's really opening up the map now. Ooh, is this canceled? No, we're not going to see it canceled. Tried to get the stun off very, very close, but last second of Blue Pill is actually, or recall. Blue Pill's beta. But that's what I'm going to call Blue Pill. Blue Pill. The last second of it is actually invulnerable, so even if she did throw out that stun, probably still wouldn't have got her, but close action. Close action. You never know. Sometimes shift right click is the good thing to do. When you're running through brushes, you can attack instantly right away without having to react right away, but yeah, both teams are kind of mounting up right here. Teemo still keeping that top lane pushing, doing a good job for his team. His teleport still is only a third of the way off cooldown, so still got to wait for that, but he's a lot more mobile than Malphite, so if he can pull Malphite away from Zappos' team, keep him in that top lane, that'll actually be really huge for their team comp, and then if they can teleport Teemo down into the fights, I think that'd be a huge advantage for Raytheon. I think Raytheon still has a really good shot at this game. I mean, they're only down 700 gold, but for all intents and purposes, the bot lane is really, really strong, and the team comp overall for Zappos is very strong, but I think if they play that game and they just try to keep as many resources top as possible with this Teemo and teleport them in when they get the chance over the big objective fights or pushing towers, dragons, what have you, or they can pick a fight, get them committed, then could be really huge for them, because the bullet time, Curse the Set bullet time, still very, very potent. Akali's still very potent as well, has that gunblade, so now she's starting to come online with that kind of damage. Needless to large rod as well, and poor Stith. I mean, it doesn't really kill him, but it's just like the most frustrating thing ever, and Teemo's actually been able to pull 2 resources top. So really, we see actually a standoff here, 3v3, Lux still missing in mid, Akali over here as well, but the numbers advantage is in Raytheon's favor if they want to try to keep pushing this stuff. And it could be really good if they set this up correctly. Nice little check over the wall by Saved by the Kel. Bandage tosses, splits the uprights. Unfortunately misses the stun, but now he's going to be able to go in. Unusable, should be able to get picked off, but Saved by the Kel blows his ult afterwards, and Gat still hasn't popped out his ult yet. Or is he waiting on it? Did he? Oh, I guess he did. I guess he used it. I guess I didn't see that. I guess I'm blind. Akali, maybe got canceled. I don't know. But Akali actually finally rotating down, but that's that kind of numbers advantage, and they should be able to possibly take this bot turret. Although no, they have a lot of wave clear. It's gonna be tenuous. So yeah, they're not gonna be able to quite pull that one off with Lux there still in the wings. So unfortunate for them, but they did pick up a kill. Wasn't as good as they had hoped, but still worked out pretty decently. And Akali gonna go back to this mid lane, keep pushing up. They finally actually rotated Malphite down as well. And then now Teemo left by his own. Now he can split push. And this is the really annoying game that Raytheon is going to have to play out here if they want to win this game. And so far, it's actually working out for a little bit. They're stalling out the advantage that could have been had against them, and now they've cut this lead down to a 200 gold lead. It's basically nothing. So basically even game coming here. Saved by the Kel now rotating down. Doesn't have his ult still on half cooldown. So don't know. He's going to be a big scare factor, but he's not going to be huge for the actual go in there and actually trade fight factor. But he's going to come in here, demand some respect, and it's actually going to back off this Zappos team. And now we see Zinzao heading up here, but Akali waiting in the wings actually here might be able to catch Zinzao in transition. Let's see how this goes. This could be huge for Akali. Walking Death sees it. Now he's going to come in. He's going to run straight into the mushroom. Oh, but he dives over it. And he ults. Oh, so clutch. So clutch right there by Stith. I mean, he was about to run into that mushroom and be dead to rights. Now Walking Death just going to back off out of this one after he's done with his stalking work up there in that top lane. Teemo's still at it. Still going to push. They put Leona on duty, though, which is a little bit better. I think in some cases, I think Malphite's all in underneath turrets at least is a little bit better if they want to try to push this out. Although they're working on this dragon, this could be huge. Save the Kill going to walk up here if he can pull some support quick enough, but it looks like he's not going to be able to. Might try to come in at the last second, and no, not able to do it. I mean, that could have been, if they had a little bit of better vision, he was able to go in there a little bit earlier. He does have the spine advantage since Zinzao is top lane. That could have been a good pick off for them, and possibly, especially if their team was in position, could have picked it off. But Zappos, again, nice little buff control there. They had the timers down, doing some work. A lot more wards need to go up on the map for both teams, honestly. Teemo has some good coverage up in that top lane for himself with those mushrooms. And poor Zinzao just keeps falling for the bait up there against this Teemo. Really trying to get in there. Ult from Leona misses, flashes out. Tofu Fa. Oh, man. Just with the slows in there as well. Just baiting him all the way to turret. Like hook, line, and sinker. This is like... Basically, focusing on this Teemo is kind of the same as like focusing on a Singed, and they just keep trying to throw research. Now they have Malphite up there as well. This is, oh man, this is shenanigans right now. And Teemo just needs to throw some mushrooms out. So he can stall the push out after you do come in there. He's also going to be able to get a Kali and a Mumu's heading up there. So we actually might see a pretty big clash. The Draven's even being pulled out. Everybody's going top now to deal with some Mumu. And Misfortune, though, lucky for her, is getting to free farm in that bot lane, starting to catch up with this Draven, at least in CS as CS is concerned. And now we might see the engagement here, but nope, Walking Death and Saved by the Kel decide they don't have enough ammo to go after this one. They're just going to back off here and wait for the next chance they have. Saved by the Kel still waiting in this tri-bush for his moment, although I don't think they have quite enough to go in and win this fight, though. If it does kick off, and Walking Death takes all the damage up front, and the Curse of Sad moves have to be used just to get out of dodge, and now a lot of re-engage on the Teemo. Teemo's not going to be against one. Really, their team comp needs the Misfortune with there to get enough damage, and Draven, Axe is returning to him. Very nicely done there, and they should be able to push in on this turret and be able to take it because Save the Kill just by himself. Not going to be able to stop this one out. We see him actually in there trying to protect it and crying salty tears all over, but it's not really going to matter to them. Now running for his life, eats a little bit of stuns. Going to eat the third strike from Talon Strike. No, Leona ult even coming in, but they could even... Oh, man. Raytheon, poor Raytheon, actually lose 2 turrets right there in that trade. Again, they have some potential with their comp. I think that Walking Death didn't come out quite far enough ahead in that mid lane. Stanky Lake did a good job there, and right now the tools, at least, and the team comp for Zappos is just a lot stronger to fight this one out. Bullet time coming over the top, but really not too scared of it at this point. Infinity Edge is picked up for Misfortune, which is really nice for him. He's going to kick into those damage potential, but as you can see here, Draven has the Infinity Edge, and he raises you a Blade of the Ruined King, so very much still ahead at this point in the game, and still a big, huge factor for them. If he's able to be that lawnmower and throw those buzzsaws in the back lines, could be pretty effective. Now he's going to go back as well and buy out some more items. A lot of members of Zappos backing off out of here. This would be the perfect time that if you saw this, you could try for the Desperation Baron. They still have Zinzao in the wings, but he is pretty low. But even then, I don't think that would really pay off for them. But even then, only a 3K lead actually coming out for Zappos. But I just like their team comp a lot better now because Teemo, they pretty much, Raytheon has to stick to this this kind of kooky split push with Teemo kind of comp if they're going to want to keep the pressure off of them. I don't know, it's going to start losing its effectiveness here unless Teemo can really get going with clearing out this top lanes and punishing them and with the stall outs. But Bomb turret going to be taken by Raytheon. They realize that's the next objective being taken. Baron's still up though, so we could see just a Baron attempt straight up from Zappos if they're like, hey, there's 3 bot, let's just go take Baron. But not everybody in position. They're actually going to defend now. Zinzao back in base. So not going to quite be there, so they're going to rotate over there, get these lanes pushing, and then start setting up for these objectives. Lots of pings going down towards Baron, and they should know about this, or should respect the Baron positioning at this point in the game. I think there's going to be another big, huge team fight. It might be over Dragon possibly when it respawns, although I think Zappos should have that with their timer control that they've generally had throughout most of this game. We might see it around Baron, but really it's all going to come down to can Raytheon land the perfect set of ults, and can Akali finally be effective. A lot of these fights are a lot of times she's tried to be effective, Hasn't really landed anything. So there's the Curse of Sandwich time after the cleanse. Bullet time comes in. This could be the moment I was just talking about. Akali able to get in the back lines. Laser going to do some surgery on her. And now they're going to start to pick up some kills after the fact. Akali needs to clean up these kills. Needs to focus back on Deluxe. Leona's not the target she wants. And so is Stealth. Stealth, you don't want Stealth either. But now can Teemo finally work down Stanky? Like, it looks like he's going to be able to do it. One more hit. There it is. The poison ticking and triple kill for Teemo. Look at that smug little smile on his face. He knows he's doing work. And again, really, I think that fight comes down to, too, is the fact that Malphite not able to be in that fight. They need him for a lot of their engagements. I think this is something it's kind of been pointing out to them a little bit before. They need to just keep Malphite with their comp. But Teemo, again, with that teleport, with that mobility and the ability to split push that top lane, coming through from them, they win a big, huge team fight, and now we're back to almost even again, breaking it down to just under, it's about 800 gold, so. At this point, even game for both teams, and really nice layering of ults. The cleanse after the bandage toss needed to be saved till the Curse of the Sad Mummy so they could get out, and you get the little bit of the reduction there, but as soon as that happened, it was lights out. Akali, I think, went on to Xin Zhao, but I think if she would have focused on Lux first, would have actually been a little bit more successful. Probably would have lived as well. But hey, big win for Raytheon right there, picking up 4 kills in that team fight and giving up 2, I believe. So really nicely done. And now it's go time. I mean, Zappos, they have a great team comp for engagements. They just need to be able to have Malphite there as well. I think Malphite would have been pretty key to counter initiate on what was going on. There actually was some pretty decent cleanup. Draven also just needs to not get caught, because that was a huge catch by Teemo. Big props to Saved by the Kel. That was a masterful land right there, the bandage toss, and really just exactly what they needed. And again, as I kind of predicted a little bit here, Dragon's going to be controlled again by Zappos. A lot of ults down still, so really just overall can be able to take that pretty easily, although it looks like Momo actually might have his ult back up. So just really, again, positioning wise, Zappos has had that Dragon down pretty much all game, and Gak going to start to run in slow motion. Doesn't want that unstoppable force underneath turret. Axes come in, and they have their AD carry on lock. Teemo, meanwhile, split pushing that top lane, and the rest of the team needs to respond to this. Kind of might need to actually just give up the second turret, but we'll see what they do here. Again, Walking Death getting in there. Alt, Curse the Sad Mummy. They're just wasting as much time as possible as Teemo keeps pushing us out. And this is actually a victory. Saved by the Kel lives. Oh, no, he just died. Gives up some buffs, but the money point in this is they got to be able to defend this push if they keep pushing, but it looks like they're not going to push. Looks like Malphite want to go back, but he gets hit, and now they just need to stop them from backing. If he can stop them from backing, this could be good. They actually juke him out now, although they're dying. Oh, he did not die, though. That's key, though, but Teemo is going to be able to take this top turret and probably the inhibitor. No one's been able to back yet. Now they're finally trying to go back, and beautifully done right here. Just stalling this one out. They got 2 seconds till Misfortune's able to come in here. Bloody Faith's able to survive as long as possible. Teemo not able to get that inhibitor, but he is able to take that turret. And Dofu Fa. That's why that's Teemo for you. That's why people hate to play against it. Bolt time going to clear out the turret. Might get some turret aggro. Gatcat should be able to get this one. Gets one. Going for 2. Trying to get their static shift procs. Flash after just to make sure they can get enough distance. And man, the fight in this team. Raytheon doesn't want to let this one slip by. That Teemo, that X-Factor Teemo coming in there, split pushing that top lane, getting Malphite out of team fights. Then he rolls up there, and when they finally get Malphite into their team comp, now they actually have to pay with a base turret, so pretty good. I think the only thing, though, is unless Teemo's super sneaky again, and really, if you are Teemo, I think you just sneak back up there and just backdoor the inhibitor whenever they get out, and then you teleport into a team fight if you really need it. Have your team play safe, and I think you can just get yourself the inhibitor. Once you get that inhibitor, then you can really start pouring it on the lanes and other turrets, as we see here. A little bit of check at Dragon going to go down, although that is already gone now. Moving up towards Lux, although she does see that on the mini-map as they rotate up here, so she knows right away. Stanky Legs like, I'm not going to mess around with that. Going to call on my team, help out. Draven pushing up that top lane, though, to make sure that it doesn't auto-push on their inhibitor. Don't want to deal with that, and they might try to split-push Draven now. Looks like he's thinking about blue-pilling, and then he just keeps pushing on here, so we'll see what they actually end up doing. But right now with this 5 team, they can push around pretty well. Now, if they wanted to, you know, if they had a big advantage, they could just push onto the naked inhibitor. But the way I'm looking at it now, I don't think that. I think in a straight up team fight, I still think it's still like, you know, it's not obvious like that they can win. I think it still comes down to how well they land their ults. A lot of pressure actually coming on this bot lane now, though. And it looks like Saved by the Kell and Walking Death are going to realize this back off right away. But they got, the main point is they got Zappos playing to their tune now. They got Zappos running around. And Zappos isn't playing the game that they want to play. But Teemo already has mushrooms up in the top jungle. Zappos, if I were them, I'd get as many wards up in the top jungle as I possibly can. A lot of pressure going to Saved by the Kell. They get a lot of CC on them, but there's no real follow-up right in line. Although, so much CC on here. He's going to use his ult to try to disengage with a slow reapplies. Bull time coming across the enemies. A beautiful bandage toss into the Wraith camp. Saved by the Kell. The juke boots are on. He's running for it, and it looks like he's going to be able to get out of this scot-free. Oh, man. The plays. And Teemo. Shh, don't tell anybody. He's split pushing the top lane. But he doesn't actually have to split push there. He should just sneak through the jungle, just backdoor the inhibitor, and demand respect right there. He doesn't have to push up this lane. Draven's actually going to go out and meet him now just because of this, and that's a smart play, although that's taking away their AD, their main source of pushing this turret. So without him, Lux can clear waves, but she's not going to deal damage to a turret. So Draven, if you're going to send someone, yeah, he can kind of deal with Teemo, but he's not going to be the main one that's going to be able to shut Teemo down, and you're not going to be able to push without Draven, so good stall tactics. Again, they just got to keep riding this Teemo factor. That's Raytheon's golden ticket, although if they're able to actually catch Teemo ever or get off a really big, huge team fight and just push, they can outrace Teemo. But for right now, Teemo is king of their jungle, and they really need. They either need oracles to go on a mine-sweeping hunt, or they need to force a fight at Baron, possibly. Just fight over that objective, get that, and then get that swagger to possibly go in and clear out some stuff. But I don't really know what Zappos is gonna do here, because Raytheon's golden ticket is clear. Although they got a Kali bottom, I think they might be able to go for Baron and win this, and they could win a team fight, especially without a Kali. So we'll see how it goes down here. Crossing over more mushrooms, going for this. Teemo's just waiting there. He's going to go invisible. They don't have an oracles. Oh, man. Oh, the plays. Teemo waiting for his moment to strike. Tarek down bottom. It looks like Kali's still bottom. I feel like Zappos should just force a Baron at some point. I mean, yes, there's a Moo bullet time kind of action going on, but they have 5 people up there. They know multiple members are bottom. Teemo's kind of zoned out. If they could establish vision control, like just clear it out with pink wards, I think that would be the way to go. Obviously, ward's still here with vision around Baron, but if they could master vision around there, master the fact that there's no mushrooms around there as well, I think it could be huge for them. Teemo's getting pretty huge now. Like, he has Mallet, Rune King, and he has the bow. So I mean, he has so much attack speed backing him up now that the problem is going to be is that his split push is going to get even stronger and stronger to the point where he's going to be able to down that turret really quickly if you're not paying attention. Dragon being pinged, although that shouldn't really be that shouldn't be something that Raytheon fights over. They should distract over it maybe, but they don't actually have to commit to the dragon and try to take it. They just have to basically keep and just basically waste time. And like I'm saying, like, Teemo's going up through lane, keeping the lanes pushed, but really he should just be like freaking guerrilla warfaring it through the enemy's jungle. They have no wards up there. He doesn't know this, but they have no wards up there, so he can literally just run through the jungle, run out to the inhibitor, go poke, 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 poke. You have an inhibitor down. Then he doesn't even have to go up there. He can switch to bot lane if you really want to. Start working on that one, but keeping him up top is a pretty safe thing. Now there's a big pressure down here, so Saved by the Kell is going to have to get right back in here right away. We already see the blue pills going down by Draven, and again, if they send Draven, they can't push. So Zappos is basically going to stall out again here as they try to stop this. This team pushes in this lane again, and Draven's going to get some more farm, but they have no ability to really press any advantages here. And Teemo, as you can see, being a nuisance. And now it's time for him to run through the enemy jungle. Laser going to cross over, sees it's not there. Now he's going to blue pill while he stealths, waiting out a little bit. There's the sight vision. They do see him. They do light binding him, so they do know he's there. So now he actually does have to run for his life. Move quick. They finally catch them. Oh, they finally squashed the bug, and now there might be a team fight coming on here. Walking Death actually getting 1v1 here by the Xin Zhao. Stith And this is all sorts of bad for Raytheon. This is the moment that need to strike. Teemo down, bloody face down, 3 down. Now you only have Curse the Set bolt time. That's not going to be enough to stop this 5-man push. And finally, you know, when Zappos got their man, they were able to pull it off. And again, I think if Teemo was a little bit more sneaky about it, they would have never been the response from Draven. They still could have held the push. Curse the Set Mummy coming in there, but they're going to be cleared. There's the ace. There's going to be at least a base turret and an inhibitor. Hopefully Zydeco doesn't die. I did that in one of my tournament matches this weekend, so you're better than me so far. But still 20 seconds down for most of the key members. 40 seconds for a Moo Malphite, and they might keep pushing this one in there. 15 seconds. They're at least going to get some Nexus turrets, at the very least, if not both, and it looks like they are going to be able to take this. It's going to be Teemo, Akali, and Taric at best to try to stop this, but the damage coming in. Will they be able to get up in time? Laser crossing. Teemo's going to be able to come, but yeah, they won't be able to stop this. And congratulations to Zappo, able to close this one out, and Key finally picked off that Teemo. Well done by them. And Raytheon, fun little game to cast for them. Glad I got to see the Teemo rumbling and bumbling around there, doing some work, but very nicely done. So I'm going to be bringing you Rockstar versus Microsoft next. So just hang around, guys, and I'll be messaging them and bring them shortly, as I believe their game's going to start. It's scheduled to start in 3 minutes. So want to keep that running. So congratulations to Zappos getting another win. Raytheon, fun to watch for you guys. Know you guys had some subs, but was pretty entertaining to watch Dofu Fa run around there and make Zappos start to have PTSD versions of their previous league games where they lost these late game matches where they had advantages. So thanks, guys, and yeah, so shortly.